permitted. But his research is focused on Vaishnavism, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, years and years of research that he's undertaken. And he's accompanied by Her Grace Kamalapriya Mataji. And I am specifically pleased to invite Pranava Prabhu back to the symposium. He was here with us last year, and after that he went through a very, very serious health crisis. And when I saw him this time, I embraced him and I said, I'm just so happy, Prabhu, to see you here. And this is in his own submission. This is the first time he's going to literally speak like this after several months. Almost, I think this happened in summer last year.
Almost 1 year.
Almost 1 year. So this is the first time he's coming back to speak, literally. So please give him a round of applause, Pranava Prabhu and Kamalapriya Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Prabhu is going to speak slowly, and he's also going to take Mataji's assistance in terms of question answers.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tapana Mishra Prabhu, thank you very much for your kindness. So, yes, I joined in Vrindavan in 1983, and I did Sankirtan, book distribution, for about 10 years in Sweden, Denmark, Norway, mainly Norway. Distributed 70,000 books of Srila Prabhupada. Then in around, after that, I became a temple president in Gothenburg, in Sweden. And after 17 years as a brahmachari life, it was, I got married with Kamalapriya, that she's
Thank you.
Germany book distributor, 120,000 books of Srila Prabhupada she distributed in Germany. And after that, we thought what to do. And we started to study at the university. She's a master degree in education. And I continued with religious studies. I got a PhD in 2010. And then a postdoc in religious studies. And now I am a lecturer at the university. This is to tell you my interest, the idea of religion. And particularly after distributing so many books and being a brahmachari and being with devotees for so many years, Vaishnavism is part of life. So that what happened to me at least. So we have, I think, about 20 minutes. So I will try to speak about religious studies, what it means. I focus on India now, although I can speak about religious studies in Oxford Center for Hindu Studies, Bhaktivedanta College in Radhadesh. There are so many things you can say about, but since we are in India, I speak about India. Some examples of affiliations and universities in India. In the last year, there is a very strong change among such of the temples in India to enter the universities. I'll show you, give some examples. And then if you're interested to know what is needed to enter a university, I can give you some ideas of how we are dealing with it in India at this stage. So Srila Prabhupada's relation to academics, Srila Prabhupada supported the Bhaktivedanta Institute for Science and Krishna Consciousness through PhDs such as Sadaputta Das and Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami and others. This is quite known. Rabindra Swarup Prabhu told about Srila Prabhupada's desire to start a religious Bhagavat college in Mayapur with a Vaishnava library affiliated to Calcutta University that he told in a Vyasa Puja offering in 2018. So it seems like Srila Prabhupada had really the desire to have a religious studies college of the Bhagavatam. and Ravinder Swarup he speaks about that Srila Prabhupada wanted to have a connection with Calcutta universities, and for a connection with Calcutta University it's important to have a library. So they were discussing about collecting books about Vaishnavism mainly for that. So even if we go back to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he started a school at the Bhaktivinoda Institute. If you know, it's very close, down the road, Bhaktisiddhanta Road. There was a school for preparing students for admission to Calcutta University. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was open to the idea of dealing with the University of Calcutta. He paid the PhD of Sambhidananda Das, who studied at London University and got his degree in 1935. The thesis about the history and literature of the Gaudiya Vaishnava and their relation to other medieval Vaishnava schools. So that was because that was the first time anyone in the West and probably in India wrote a book about the history of Vaishnavism from the early period, from the Acharyas to the present. So that was quite a special work. So religious studies in India, if you study, I'm publishing a book with some other professors and researchers about the future of religious studies in India, with 3 Swedish scholars, and myself and 2 of my colleagues, and 4 Indian scholars, about what happened in India, why religion is so important in India, and there are religious studies now all over the world in universities, but in India very, very little. So there are very few universities where you can study about Vaishnavism. As far as I know, there are now in Mumbai a little center for Vaishnava studies of a specific group, Vaishnava group in Maharashtra. And there is in Chennai a little center for Vaishnavism of Ramanuja tradition. But that's basically it. But now India is going through a new period, and without discussing too much about the politics, the point is that the Hinduism, if you like, and everything connected to Hinduism, Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Shakti, anything, gets more encouragement to get started, even in the universities. So there's something really new that is happening in India right now. And of course, when you talk about religious studies, I think about Vaishnavism and Krishna. But religious studies in India can be a little bit special, if you like, with courses related to religious studies, with Ayurveda, ecology, agriculture, yoga, of course. Yoga is a big at the moment. So religious studies we focus in Vaishnavism because if there is no religious studies in India so much, there is some comparative religion at the Viplavah University, which is very close to Mayapur. They study very special things. But religious studies can be a very large topic. It can be theology of Vaishnavism. For example, we could study Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada. I haven't seen any thesis or book about Srila Prabhupada, so there is a need to write about what he did and his theology. History of religions, the history of Vaishnavism in India. People say that Vaishnavism is the largest religion of India. At least in the West, the British encyclopedia of the British encyclopedia, so to speak, in 1996 wrote that there are 600 million Vaishnavas in India. 600 million. So they are more than Shaivism and Shaktism. So there are many, like we think about Gujarat, mainly Krishna, Rajasthan, Krishna, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rama, and then here in Bengal is Chaitanya and Radha Krishna, so on and so forth. In South India there is of course Ramanuja with Lakshmi Narayan studies and so on. Sociology of religion, psychology of religion, philosophy of religion, the study of God, the material nature, the self, world religions, interreligious studies, relationship of Vaishnavism with Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, cosmology and astronomy of religion. We have a temple of Vedic planetarium. So there will be obviously the need to study the relationship between this and the general scientific idea, so to speak, the contrast. So that can be area of religious studies even in India. Sorry? There. So example of affiliated university in India. So this is one example of a university in Calcutta, a very, very famous university, Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda Educational and Research Institute, that was founded in 2005. Now this university is not Bengal, it's part of the UGC, University, yeah, you know better than me. So it's center in Delhi, and it's a very high class, very high quality university. The special thing about this is that sannyasis, Ramakrishna sannyasis, are the professors. They're teaching the courses. And in this institute, for example, you have you have a school of mathematical sciences, technical, but then you have school of Indian heritage. Heritage means the life of Swami Vivekananda, Sanskrit, philosophy, theology. You understand what I mean? So it's a university, but it has a proper space for their own religions connected to Delhi, the government that decide which university is going to become a university. So it's called a deemed university, exactly. So that's just an example. About us, I started with the foundation of Vaishnava Studies with Bhaktivedanta Research Center. If you heard about it, it's in the south of Calcutta. That was part of my studies about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. My thesis was about him. We collected with myself and Harishori Prabhu basically all the books of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They are preserved in the BRC, and we have about 20,000 books about religion in India. So that we did in the last 10 years. We started working it in 2009. Now this is moving forward. We are connected with a professor from Calcutta University. We want to affiliate this one to Calcutta University, Department of Philosophy. So we're just working on it right now. What's been done so far in terms of universities and affiliation to universities? So this is one, this Bhaktivedanta Vidyapith Research Center. Have you heard about it before? You heard about